what they have in common first is those who have succeeded, their determination is clear. And for those who have not succeeded, it's that they are not clear in themselves, so they are not, when they go on the spiritual path, they have been taught a certain thing, but in themselves, their mind is not stable. Their mind is a very foolish one, which jump from one thought to the other, or one path to the other, and one things to the other. They can't keep calm. So when one is chanchal, which means always moving, so their agitated mind itself will not have a certain focus. So then their goal itself, what they want to achieve, become unclear. Like very often you see people, they are themselves unclear about their path. And of course, when one is unclear about their path, unclear about what they want to achieve in life, and they adventure into the spiritual field, of course, when you adventure into the spiritual field, everything gets amplified. When you are unclear itself, that unclarity itself also gets amplified. So that's why you see that very often people go into the spiritual world and they back off. But when you are clear, then you have the full strength and power behind you, pushing you, and that positiveness that you hold inside of you also will bring you forward. So you see, your mindset, how you view life itself also determine where you stand. So that mindset must be clear. There's this beautiful story in the life of Lord Buddha, actually, where there was one monk. There was this famous prostitute. She was called Amrapali. Amrapali. So she was very beautiful, and in her place there were even king. Many chariot will queue itself, just like a taxi. When you go and try to get a taxi at the airport, they're all queuing to get their passenger. Like that, there will be queues of kings and emperors waiting to see her, to meet her. That's how she was powerful, and she was very beautiful. And of course, she lived in a palace. She had everything, and of course, she was a prostitute. Very high demand prostitute, and of course, the work of a prostitute, she will give her body for the people, and of course the king and everybody will come and use the body as a thing, like you use things, you use instrument like that, they will use her body, but in deep inside of her, she was never happy. She was feeling sad and miserable. So one day, some disciple of when Lord Buddha will go around, he will go around with 10,000 of people. And one day there was this monk who went begging around in the city. And that handsome monk, he was very well, nicely built and very handsome, very educated and very elegant. And he also came from a very wealthy family, a royal family, just like Lord Buddha. So he was in the city begging with his begging bowl, and he was passing by, and he saw all this, all this chariot of so many kings and waiting all the time, and he was wondering what it is, what is happening in this palace. So he went and asked for, as he was passing by, he went near the palace, and as he was looking, he saw Amrapali sitting on the window. And Amrapali saw him. The moment Amrapali saw him, inside of her heart, something jumped. That love awake inside of her heart. So when he saw her, of course, she was so beautiful. inside of him, he just bowed down to her. And that shocked Amrapali. And Amrapali ran down quickly and bowed down to him. And said, please come to my place. And I said, then he addressed her, said, Mother, how can I, you are living in I am a monk, how can I be into the palace, And said, please, come and have lunch with me. And the monk said, okay, fine, I will come. So the monk went and have lunch with Amrapali. And then, of course, all the other monk was auspicious and shocked and everything else, And then the Amrapali asked him, said, look, I would like to do something for you, but what can I do? In few days' time, there will be the rainy season. I would like that you spend this 4 months of rainy time, Chaturmas, with me. I promise you, I will not disturb you. This is your place, do whatever. I want to serve you, because it's the first time somebody have given me such respect in my life, which everybody just want to use me, but you have bowed down to me and you have called me mother, and I want to do something for you. And then the monk said, well, I'm a monk, I can't live in a palace. No? It's true that during these 4 months of rainy season, the monk, the sadhus, they stayed in one place. But for that, I will need the permission of my guru. First, he have to give me permission firstly, then I will come. Then but if he refused, I'm sorry for that. I can't do anything because I'm his. So he can do whatever he wants with me. So then she bowed down and said, okay, fine, I will respect whatever your master said. So the monk came to Lord Buddha, and of course, meanwhile, all the other monks have come and have already started firing, words and saying how terrible is that monk who have entered the prostitute house and even eat at the prostitute, And of course, then when Lord Buddha came, when he came to see Lord Buddha, and he said, Master, Amrapali have invited me to stay for the rainy season 4 months at her place. And I have said, if you give me permission, I will. If you not, then I will not. This is I am yours, you do whatever you want with me. So saying, Lord Buddha said, I grant you permission. You can go and stay. And everybody was shocked. So one old man take courage and said, this is auspicious, how can you do that? For sure that will, destroy our, name and so on, So then Lord Buddha looked at it and said, yes, look, he is clear about his way. He could have thrown his begging bowl away and be with that lady, But he didn't. He came and asked permission, firstly. That showed that clarity. Secondly, he didn't address her as a prostitute. He addressed her as Amrapali. He addressed her by her name because he don't judge her, he don't condemn her. If he will judge her and condemn her, he will call her prostitute like you all have done. So like that, he's clear about it. So that's why I gave him the permission to go. Then another monk opposed to that and said, oh, it's very terrible. For sure, he will be ruined and finished, Then the Buddha said, okay, we will see after 4 months. So after 4 months, he came back because everybody was expecting that he would not come back. After 4 months, he came back, and behind him, he was still a monk, and behind him, there was this beautiful lady coming, Amrapali. And the monk said, Master, this is your new disciple, and she have taken shelter to your feet. And of course everybody was shocked to see her transform, and she fall down at the feet of Lord Buddha. And then the Buddha said that her soul is as pure as his own soul itself. Because during these 4 months, the saint have transformed her completely. That's what her soul was longing for. So, like that, the monk, he was clear about his path. When somebody is clear about his path. So, coming back to the story, so Lord Buddha, then she surrendered all her wealth to Lord Buddha, and that's what they used to spread also the teaching of Lord Buddha everywhere. So, like that, you see, those which is clear, they don't fall down again into the same where they are, So they will keep increasing and growing. But those which is not clear, of course, they will fall back, So that is, you can see in the people itself. It reminds me also of a story of Philip, Saint Philip of Neri, Philip de Neri, who he also, he went, when they first wanted to trap him, they sent him some prostitute to his place, and of course he started talking about God and the love of God and how merciful is God and how God is forgiving, and of course they all became his disciple. The same thing in Shirdi Sai Baba's life, and there were some people who sent some courtesan to Shirdi Sai to seduce Shirdi Sai, and of course, seeing that love of God, of course, that's why I was saying earlier, somebody which dwell into a high state, you see, will have always mercy on those, he will have all understanding and mercy on those who dwell on the lower state itself. And then they will try to uplift them, to raise them. So that comes only when one is clear about one path. When you're clear about your decision to live a certain lifestyle, or to engage yourself into your spiritual path, that clarity must be there. And that if you are clear about your path itself, and you have made your mind, discipline your mind, like Krishna said, and knowing that he is the source of everything, then there is no chance of one going back into that delusional world again. It's not that one will fall down again. No, you will keep rising.